Hi, it's me again with CorelDraw Tips and Tricks, part 3, hopefully the last one. I really should just take down the last two videos. Well, we figured out how to get the white away. The only thing that bothered me about this file is this, part of these things are really close to the edge. But with that being said, because every one of these is a different size, so if you didn't watch part 1, we're trying to reduce this thing. So what we're going to do, we're going to reduce it first, but this time we're going to do it by percentage, and hopefully this will work. So if you see I need to change my measurement to millimeters and remeasure this. Centimeters would work, but I don't know. I can't remember. He wanted, so it's 316. He wanted it like between 180 and 200. So we're going to change this text so we can read it. And we are going to take everything and select it. We don't have to group it. But before I did it so I'm going to lock my ratio. And I'm going to make it 90, let's make it 80%. That's still not enough. Let's back up. Let's go 60% of the size. Now we're at 189.964. So that works. Now, let's get rid of our measurement. So everything should be correct. And if you didn't watch part 1 and 2, with the exception that now, the only thing that really matters when you're doing stuff like this is, I said in the other video, not this distance, but this distance, because this distance will correlate with the tabs. This is the thickness of your wood. So let's grab our parallel dimension tool, and we're at 180 instead of 3. So let's try this now. Let's select that and go up to Object, Group, and Ungroup All. Okay, now we've got individual squares. Let's put them back to 100%. Now let's measure the parallel dimension. Now you would have to do that for every one of them, because I can't figure out, like, it would take forever to do it the other way I was planning on doing it, because these are at an angle. So now we're at 3 millimeters. So regardless of what angle it's at, let's do this one here at an angle. Let's bring it up to 100%. It's in the same spot, but if we measure it crossways, we're at 3 millimeters. So everything should be equal. Everything should be perfect. I would strongly suggest this one's gonna mess you up a little bit, because whoever drew this did not see this. I'd put that more in the middle. And so these two, 35, 34, and 33, you might have to recut to make them smaller. Because see, this one is shorter than these. So that's why, like, that's number 1. Look at number 1. Number 1 is a little short deal, and even the tab is shorter. So you need to, and I don't know why they've got them marked on the outside. If you cut these out, well, you're going to have to break them. And let's see, I can't remember what his laser, he sent the file on a piece of like a paper. I think he said it was 400 by 300. So these won't fit on that page, but everything else will, individually. So what you're going to have to do is move these. And if you look, you're going to lose your number, but you could move them like this, get about half of them and put them in your laser bed. Let's move this one out of the way. And don't forget to take away that white. And then take the other half and see, I'm grabbing some other stuff. Make sure you just get that. This should work. And then everything should fit together with the exception that one you moved. And also you want to move it on both ends at the same time. So let's back up here to before I move that. See, that one's not moved. I'm going to get rid of, and this is after you did all the, well, you know what? You would only have to do the, let's just delete this. You would only have to move this up, this one, and then make it that 100%. So you would only have to do, and that way you can kind of see what it looks like, how close it is. So just, and you might even be able to make a macro for this, but just take all these and make them 100%. They should still be in the same angle. Now, once you've done them all the 100%, and that's the only thing, I mean, the tabs are getting bigger and this is getting a little bit weak, but this should work. It's not a structural box. It's a, so after you've done them all, make a duplicate of that and move it over, and then just get rid of your inside line for your bottom. This is your bottom, these are your sides, this is your top, and then this thing is just going to be placed on top of it. Now, with that said, you could glue on the bottom, you could take your, let's do this, take your Smart Fill tool, fill that in, and then this is going to be just a solid piece of wood. I would left click, right click, go up to Effects and Contour. I would contour to the inside. I don't know millimeters, so let's go 0.05 millimeters. Say apply. And what that's going to do is going to give you, that's not enough. And there's actually a bad spot right there. I don't know where that came from. Oh, that's from the 35. So let's take that, let's break this apart. Well, there we go. So that since that number was on the inside, let's do this again. Let's delete that. Take your Smart Fill tool, move that over. I like this idea. I think this is going to work. I hope the young man cuts it out. I'm going to go like 0.1 contour. Let's see how big that is. Not much. Because that's going to give you your slack. I actually think it would be like 0.2 millimeters. And then go up to Object, break the contour apart, and grab your center. And then that's going to glue onto the bottom. So this is going to be like a top and it's going to be engraved. And I think because, let's do this. Let's group this together. And let's hit P and put it in the center page. And when I backed up, I changed the page size. Let's change your page size when you click off your item. So it's 400 by 300. And then take this new, did the contour break apart? No, it did not. There you go. And then hit P, and that should work. And then you're going to glue that. Don't forget about the markings. The markings are only going to be on the top. All you care about is these two lines. Let me do that. Let me nudge. Well, let me set his nudge factor on like 60 and nudge that out of the way 3 times. And I hope this makes sense. This is going to, I need to break it apart. This is going to keep your lid from falling off. It's going to be nested down inside of here, if that makes any sense. So let's just do this. Let's fill this in with blue. And if I would have nudged the whole time, this is going to fall down inside that cavity and keep the lid from falling off. You would just glue these two pieces on and you could just get it close. You could actually, if you cut this out last, and that's not a hairline, He doesn't draw on hairline. You could actually cut this out and score this. Just remember, you want the other side, so you'd want to cut it out upside down. And then this will be your top piece to engrave your piece on. And I'm kind of sorry about the other two videos, but I'm going to leave them out there just because it might teach somebody a different tool. This should work. I'm curious if he cuts it out, what it's going to look like. You know, if I was going to start from scratch and redo this, I would maybe do this with a living hinge and make my own tabs. But this is going to look pretty good. It's just the difficulty is that every one of these is, and it's whoever drew it took a lot of time. And you could figure that out. But I mean, we're talking 14.77, 18, and this, you know, these are sitting next to each other. 1775. Then you get these little bitty skinny ones, 1348. So that should work. Anyway, I hope that helps somebody. And thank you for watching.